Not every story begins in the spotlight. Some begin in silence, in places the world overlooks. And some voices rise from that silence to challenge the system, shake the screen, and speak for millions. If you've heard the name John Boyega, you know the star. But today, you meet the man. John Boyega is more than a celebrated actor, he is a symbol of courage, conviction, and creative defiance. Born in South London to Nigerian parents, his rise from humble beginnings to global stardom reflects a journey defined not just by talent, but by purpose. This biography traces Boyega's path from Peckham streets to the world stage, capturing his battles with racism in Hollywood, his fearless activism, and his unwavering pride in his roots. It is the story of a man who chose truth over silence, leadership over comfort, and legacy over fame. Welcome to the story of John Boyega, bold, unfiltered, and unforgettable. March 17, 1992, in Peckham, South London, John Adedeo Bamidele Adegboyega came into the world as the son of Nigerian immigrants, his father, Samson, a Pentecostal preacher, his mother, Abigail, a caregiver. Their home was modest, deeply spiritual, and disciplined. Though far from wealth, it was rich with culture, tradition, and love. Peckham wasn't easy. It was tough, gritty, and unforgiving. But from this environment, a young boy learned how to survive, and eventually, how to speak out. John wasn't just imaginative, he was driven. Even as a child, he was fascinated by film, storytelling, and expression. Something inside him burned to perform. John's talent was spotted early on by a primary school teacher who noticed his flair for performance. By the time he was 9, he was involved in local theater. But it was at 14 years old that his life truly changed, when he joined the Identity School of Acting, a training ground for minority actors in the UK, founded by Femi Ogans. At Identity, John sharpened his skill, found community, and embraced his heritage. While peers questioned if acting was a real job, John studied Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker, and other black legends. His dream? Not just to act, but to represent. In 2011, at age 19, John landed the lead in the sci-fi film Attack the Block, a gritty, low-budget alien thriller set in South London. His role as Moses, a teenage gang leader who becomes a hero, was electric. The performance turned heads in the industry. Critics hailed him as a revelation. It was his breakout, raw, fearless, and authentic. A South London kid saving his estate from aliens. It was more than a movie, it was a metaphor for fighting back. Suddenly, casting directors in the US were watching. In 2014, John Boyega was cast as Finn, a lead character in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. The news shocked many. A young black British man, playing a former stormtrooper turned resistance hero. It was bold. Revolutionary. The world cheered, but not everyone. The casting triggered waves of racist backlash. Online trolls flooded forums. Hashtags trended in protest. But John stood firm. He told GQ, "I'm not going to apologize for being black." The film released in 2015 and was a global hit. But behind the success, John began to feel sidelined. As the trilogy progressed, Finn's arc weakened. The promised story of a black lead slowly disappeared. After the Star Wars trilogy ended, John finally said what many suspected. In a 2020 GQ interview, he revealed that Disney had marketed Finn as a lead but gave him a minor role. He called out how black characters were pushed aside. It was rare. Risky. Revolutionary. He wasn't afraid anymore. In his words, "You guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley, you knew what to do with Adam Driver. But when it came to Kelly Marie Tran and me, you didn't know what to do." He wasn't just calling out racism in fandom, he was naming it in the boardroom. In June 2020, during global Black Lives Matter protests, John took a microphone in Hyde Park, London, and gave a raw, tearful, unfiltered speech. "I don't know if he'll have a career after this, but F that." He cried. He shouted. He broke. And the world listened. That moment was bigger than a speech, it was a turning point. He had nothing left to hide. He had become a voice, not just for black actors, but for truth-tellers everywhere. No longer willing to wait for roles, John Boyega launched Upper Room Entertainment, his own production company. His goal was clear: create authentic black stories without compromise, stories rooted in truth, heritage, and power. He began choosing roles with intention, not just visibility. These were not typical Hollywood parts. They were statements. In Detroit, 2017, he portrayed a black security guard caught in the horror of the 1967 Algiers motel killings, a raw film about racial injustice and police violence. In Small Axe, Red, White and Blue, 2020, he played Leroy Logan, a real-life black British police officer trying to reform a racist institution from within. In Breaking, 2022, he delivered a haunting performance as Brian Brown Easley, a Marine veteran pushed to desperation by a broken system. And in 2022's The Woman King, Boyega took on the powerful role of King Gizo, ruler of the Dahomey Kingdom, a historic African monarch who led one of the continent's fiercest armies, including the all-female warriors known as the Agogia. Opposite Viola Davis, Boyega's portrayal was commanding yet nuanced. He brought dignity, complexity, and cultural pride to a role rarely offered to black men in Western cinema, the role of a regal, African leader with agency, vision, and layered authority. With The Woman King, Boyega didn't just act in a historical epic, he helped reclaim black legacy on screen. These roles weren't just performances. They were acts of protest, honor, and healing. In 2023, he starred in the bold, genre-bending sci-fi satire They Clone Tyrone, alongside Jamie Foxx and Teyonah Parris. Boyega played Fontaine, a quiet drug dealer caught in a wild conspiracy about cloning, control, and racial exploitation. The film was funny, dark, political, unapologetically black. And once again, Boyega showed us. He's not afraid to go deep, go weird, or go where truth lives. Whether he's in armor, robes, or hoodies. John Boyega always wears his roles like a message. Throughout his rise, John never forgot his roots. He speaks Yoruba fluently. He honors his Nigerian heritage in interviews, red carpets, and fashion. He regularly visits Nigeria, connects with the youth, and promotes African storytelling. He once said, "I'm Nigerian. My identity is not negotiable." He's not just a British star. He's an African son, building bridges between continents and challenging the West's narrow view of black identity. John is now seen not just as a performer, but a leader. A disruptor. A creative force reshaping the industry. He supports young black filmmakers, funds community projects, and uses his platform to inspire a new generation. He's involved in conversations around mental health, masculinity, and black power. Quietly, consistently, he is creating space for others to thrive. John Boyega's story is still being written. But one thing is clear, he's not chasing fame, he's chasing freedom. The freedom to tell real stories. The freedom to be bold, loud, African, and unfiltered. He's acting less for the lights. And more for the legacy. Fame often invites curiosity, and while John Boyega has been generous with his truth, his personal life remains tightly guarded. He is currently not married and has no children. He has spoken openly about his desire for a serious relationship, one grounded in shared values and cultural understanding. "I want a wife, not a partner, a wife." "I'm very old school," he told GQ. Raised in a Nigerian household with traditional values, Boyega believes in commitment but refuses to rush it. He has been linked to various women in media speculation, but he has never confirmed a public relationship. His privacy is intentional. For now, his deepest commitments lie with his work, his culture, and his mission. John Boyega did not rise by chance. He rose by fire, by risking everything, standing for truth, and refusing to be what the world expected. From a council estate in Peckham, to commanding the screens of global cinema, to shaking the gates of an industry, he is not just an actor. He is a standard, a movement, a flame that cannot be dimmed.
Hey, thanks for watching this amazing story, and welcome to Video Biographer, where every life has a story and every story deserves to be told. If you believe that every person has a journey worth knowing, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a life story that could inspire or inform you. Ready to explore more? Choose one of the videos on your screen and discover a life that you should know about. This is Video Biographer, where stories live and life speak. See you in my next video. If there's a life story you'd like me to cover, drop your suggestion in the comments. Until then, stay blessed and take care.